Core deals and inaugurations of cross-border railway, a transmission line and Indian digital card RuPay were the highlights of the high-level delegation meeting between Nepal and India Prime Ministers Sher Bahadur Deuba and Narendra Modi. However, there was no announcement of any concrete mechanism to address the outstanding boundary issues between the two nations. Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba calls on his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi. Deuba urges Modi to resolve outstanding border issues, emphasize on joint mechanism. Nepal and India signed 4 agreements, Janakpur-Jainagar Railway and Solu transmission line inaugurated, trade and investment issues not in the priority. Ukraine says its forces have seized back all areas around Kyiv, claimed complete control of the capital region for the first time since Russia launched the invasion. And skipper Babar Azam shines yet again as Pakistan thrashed Australia to win the ODI series 2-1. Shares a 190-run partnership with Imam-ul-Haq to secure victory. Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba and his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi have pledged to further strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries. During yesterday's bilateral talks at New Delhi's Hyderabad House, the two prime ministers said that bilateral relations will be further boosted for mutual benefit of the people of both the countries. During the meeting, Premier Deuba also extended an invitation to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Nepal. At the press conference held at the Hyderabad House after the meeting between the two prime ministers, Indian Premier Modi reiterated India's support and commitment towards Nepal's development and progress. Prime Minister Deuba also said that Nepal will always expect cooperation from India, a good and close neighbor of Nepal. 4 agreements were signed between the two countries. Prime Minister Deuba and his Indian counterpart Modi also inaugurated the Janakpur-Jainagar Railway. Likewise, the two prime ministers also inaugurated the Solu Corridor transmission line. The 90-kilometer-long 132 kV transmission line was constructed with soft loan from India to connect the electricity produced in Solukhumbu to the national transmission grid. Discussions were also held at the meeting regarding the development projects in Nepal. Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba has proposed for resolving the border disputes between Nepal and India through a bilateral mechanism. Premier Deuba raised the border issues during the meeting with his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi at the Hyderabad House. In a joint press conference that followed after the meeting, Prime Minister Deuba emphasized on finding a solution to the border dispute through a bilateral mechanism.
I would like to speak now that we discussed the boundary issues and I asked Modi to resolve through the establishment and a bilateral mechanism.
Following the conclusion of the joint press conference, Indian Secretary for External Affairs Harshvardhan Shringala said that India was ready to resolve the border disputes through what he said internal agreements.
You know, the point is that between any two neighboring countries, there are a number of issues that are always on the table. You can take any two neighbors and you will always have some issues that are outstanding. And I think what is important between two close and friendly neighbors is that you have the ability to sit down, discuss and sort out these issues in a manner that is obviously, satisfactory to both sides.
It's time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, what's your take on the non-signing of significant economic agreements during Premier Deuba's India visit? Your options are A, efforts on boosting ties, B, not in the priority, and C, feeble preparations. The voting is on. Type any WS, select your option, A, B or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us.
Sports News.
A-Division team New Road Team NRT have lifted the 12th edition of Simara Gold Cup for the first time in their history. NRT thrashed a departmental team, armed police force 5-0 in the tournament final played at Simara Stadium. Olamau Mesuke and Stephen Samir scored a brace each, while Dipesh Khale also found the back of the net. Winners NRT received a cash purse of 1 million rupees, while APF walked away with 500,000 rupees.
फुटबल क्लबलाई 5-0 गोल अन्तरले पराजित गर्दै यो प्रतियोगिताको उपाधि जित्न सफल। चैत्र 10 गतेबाट सुरु भएको यो उपाधि जित्न सफल मेरो टिम player of the tournament. This will be more like
Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories one more time. Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba calls on his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi. Deuba urges Modi to resolve outstanding border issues, emphasize on joint mechanism. Nepal and India signed 4 agreements. Janakpur-Jayanagar Railway and Solu transmission line inaugurated. Trade and investment issues not in the priority. Ukraine says its forces have seized back all areas around Kyiv, claim complete control of the capital region for the first time since Russia launched the invasion. And skipper Babar Azam shines yet again as Pakistan thrashed Australia to win the ODI series 2-1. Shares a 190-run partnership with Imam-ul-Haq to secure victory. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good day.